Excellent.
Perfect. Yeah, I was having this conversation with a friend last week, and she was having some issues, you know, in her relationship, and she's also going through all these hormonal changes, and she basically brought this whole package and all these things that she has going on to me. One, I appreciated how she brought it up because she's like, I have a big thing to talk to you about. Do you have the mental capacity for it? And I'm like, I do. Thank you for asking. Like, that's a great way to start this, because what if it was one of those days and I really didn't, you know? So I appreciate her starting it that way. But she just is going through these hormonal issues. She's having these issues in her relationship and wondering, okay, am I right in my feelings, or is it just the hormones? And that is, I mean, the first thing that makes me think of, because you're questioning yourself, right? You're questioning these things. You're like, okay, am I crazy? Is there actually something here that is justified that I should bring up? Or is it just these hormones making me feel like I'm way out of line? And if I bring this up to my partner, he's gonna think I'm crazy. He's gonna think I'm, you know, not a cool girlfriend, or not like a cool wife or whatever, because of these things. And I don't know if these things are justified. So for me, I've felt all of that before personally, um, and this relationship is, it couldn't be any more different than my past relationship, because the one I had prior to you was not healthy at all in any way, shape, or form. And this relationship with you has taken a lot of undoing of things that I learned in that previous relationship, because it wasn't safe to communicate my feelings. It wasn't safe to have open, honest conversations, without fear of judgment or without fear of emotional manipulation or abuse, things like that. So a lot of it for me, being you, who is good at communicating, has been learning to properly communicate, learning that I am safe, learning that there will be no negative repercussions for sharing my feelings and my thoughts and insecurities or whatever might be going on. So I feel very, very grateful in that aspect. But I know it's still a work in progress. Like, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect or excellent at knowing all the right things to say and do in a relationship. But it's something I'm aware of, right? And that's always step number one, right? It's being aware. So it's an ongoing process for me, and I'm grateful that you know that, and you're kind of to help me along the way with that.
One for me too. I can't give you, I cannot hold you to the same line that I am too. Like, I'm figuring it out, right? Like, even coming into this relationship, which a very new relationship after leaving a 13-year long-term relationship, there's tons of habits and tons of things that come along with that are comfortable. And even like the fresh start to, the openness of our relationship from jump about like, we're not going to have emotions attached to the way we feel about things. We're allowed to share that and be just aware of it. Like, I can just hold space for you to share. It doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, you're allowed to feel fucking whatever you want. It's not an attack on me. And that wasn't something that was always there. Like, that was something I had to work to develop. That was also something that I wanted in my relationship coming into this one. So I really gave a shit about being clear on that intention from jump. Um, that was one of those things that I got exposed to from, the open relationship crowd that I was around, that I thought was really good. And it was really more based on the love can't ever be a thing in the relationship that I withhold.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever get to use that as a weapon.
Right.
But it's always the safety that we are allowed to communicate. Just because we disagree on a thing, there won't be withholding of love. That I unconditionally love you.
And just that statement has been a wild thing for me to wrap my brain around.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, look, it's complicated.
we're
I'm not fucking perfect on it.
well, and we're both coming from such different experiences into this relationship. There's both so like on both of our parts, there's so much learning and growing that we've had to do together. And you mentioned it being open, and like yeah, the open part is the communication.
Yeah,
Like
yes, yes,
nothing is
yes, yes.
ever off limits to talk about.
Right. Nothing's ever off limits to talk about.
That's how it should be.
I mean, anything. Like, I think there's a lot to just acknowledging feelings, acknowledging the wants and desires, being able to clearly state to your partner what are the things that you actually need.
Mhm.
I mean, I think if you're not helping clearly state that, then some of it's got to be on you. Of like, well, they can't think I like blah blah blah. Like, fuck all that.
Well, it goes back to expectations, right? And
Yeah,
expectations can be tricky in any aspect of our lives, but I think particularly when it comes to a partner and expecting things of them or certain behaviors or anything, right? Certain actions.
they know I hate this.
Right.
Any of that type of shit, right? When in
Right.
fact, like, it's not malicious.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can think of a few examples like around the house.
Yeah, sure.
Like, because that's
It's not something I'm great at.
that's my area where I like things a certain way. And if Matt doesn't notice a thing, I'm like, how can he not notice this? Because I'm on the lookout for these things, right? His brain is thinking about a million other things in this pew, 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 going all these other directions. I know that. I know how his brain works. I know my brain doesn't quite work that way, which can be great because I feel like we do balance each other out in a lot of ways. But yeah, if there's things that he misses, I have to remind myself, like, he just doesn't see it. There's nothing malicious about this. He's just not looking for those things. And if I ask you to take care of something, which I think I'm also getting better at, because it is my initial instinct to just handle it myself, but I think I am getting better at asking for help when I need it, even if it's just something silly, like, damn, I've got a shit ton of laundry to take care of. I could really use an extra hand, just saying something like that versus stewing because he hasn't showed up to help me when I didn't. There you go.
And from my perspective of that, trying to have awareness, right? Like, it's not like I get to lay there and just say, well, she didn't ask for help. Like, that's
Right.
not fucking fair.
Well,
If I think, oh shit, I should go help, and then don't, like, that's that, like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. Like, that's
Yeah.
that's the fucking
If
line.
you
Like,
ever-
oh, you're being a piece of shit.
if you ever catch yourself leaving something for your partner to do and you
Yep.
have that thought, like, I'll leave these dishes, she'll take care of it, like,
That's her job.
yeah, if you ever have that, then okay, that's something to listen to because that's not so cool.
Yep.
Again, back to expectations. You expect
Right.
that your partner's going to take care of it. Come on. Yeah.
Nope. It
Not
doesn't. It's
possible.
just a different perspective, man. Different thing. We all were around, however, who fucking knows what got us to noticing the things that we get. But there needs to be, like, within that relationship, right? Like, one, back to malicious intent. The person I live with does not have fucking malicious intent in these actions. If they do, I no longer need to fucking live with them. Pretty easy thing to decide. People that you love don't treat you with malicious intent. Real fucking easy. So if it's not that, that means it's just got missed, and then it's forgivable, and it's not a thing to fucking harp on. It could be I'm not communicating well enough.
What about you and your needs and how you communicate them?
I try to be as straight fucking forward as possible at this point in my life.
Yeah.
I really don't have any problem stating whatever that kind of thing is, whether it is even today, even the last couple of days, right? Like, even just stating that I'm off, like, I just feel off. I can't quite put my finger on what exactly it is. I have a hunch about a few things, but none of it's really that loud. I'm just off. I also know I've been off before.
Yeah.
It'll go away. So the problem probably doesn't need to be fixed.
And that's a thing we always communicate to each other also, because I feel like we're constantly checking in. I mean,
Mhm.
not like in an annoying way,
Not trying to fix.
but also like, hey, you're kind of quiet. Are you good?
Yep.
And like checking in with your partner can be that easy. It can be that simple. And so when one of us is feeling off, obviously the other person is going to take notice. So if he doesn't bring it up and say, hey, I'm feeling a little off today, I'm not sure why, or maybe I'm feeling off this, I'm going to check in regardless and try to see what's going on. Is this something with us? Is
Right.
this something I can actually help with? Or do you just need to vent today?
Yep.
And that's actually been a really, really good thing for me because he has so much going on in there. Sometimes he just needs to get things out of his head to make space for the next thing or just to make space, right? So if he's off, if he's maybe a little quiet or frustrated or whatever type of vibes are coming from him, one, yeah, I'm always checking, okay, are we good? That's the first thing I want to check on. Everything cool between us? Two, is this something I can actually help with or take something off of your plate or like any behaviors that I can actually do to make a difference? Do you just need to vent? Do you just need to get shit out of your head? Do you just need a sounding board? And you don't even really need my opinion. You just need to speak. You just need to vocalize these things.
Yeah.
And if it's none of those things and his mood is still really off, I know that I'm super sensitive to it and I will soak up that energy, which again is another thing I've been working on because I know that it's very, very real with people that I love and care about. And I know that if it's very serious and it's not quite changing and I checked in on all those things, well then maybe I need to go run some errands or go somewhere else, let him have his space at dope or his quiet time, whatever he needs. And I actually need to physically put a little bit more distance there until he's back in, a more balanced or whatever you want to say. But for me, that was a really, really big thing to uncover. And I had talked to friends about it before. I remember one conversation I had with Brooke about it, and I think she'd actually suggested that. But finding that has been a really big game changer for me. Just because I know I'm so sensitive to your energy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I know it is, right? And so with that part of it, like, yeah, I don't ever want her to avoid me because I'm in a whatever, because I'm in a gross mood or any of that, right?
But I never look at it as
Of course,
an
but
avoidance.
sure,
Yeah.
I'm aware. Like, you got to get the fuck away from me because if not, you're gonna get this.
And you're not offended by that. Yeah.
No, but that does take work.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to want that person closest to you to feel what you feel, and like the only way we believe empathy exists, right, is if they're in the same mood and reflecting back at us what we have. And like, my problem does not designately now have to be her fucking problem. There's also a moment there to be able to, with your partner, if something's wrong wherever we're at, it's okay to say, do you want help with it? It's okay to not. I got it. It's just going to take a minute.
And that's automatically, I feel like, what you'll go to with me because you are a fixer.
Mhm.
You're a doer, and sometimes just bitch. And I need to preface those things with, okay, I don't need you to fix anything. I just need to.
Yep. Yeah, I want to help the best way possible, but I'm also a moron. And so I immediately look at things as there's problems and there's cracks in the dam. Let's start plugging holes as fast as possible to figure this out when no one's asking me to do shit. It's under control. No one's asking me to fucking jump in and manage this situation. That's not what the conversation is. And in the same way that, like, I know that she's more sensitive to my energy. And so when I have those days, be fucking cool that she's staying the fuck away. Like, you don't get both. You don't get to protect her from it and get to do your fucking natural thing. Be grumpy. Gives a shit. I can come up here and be grumpy by my fucking self. Some days I'm not great.
That just gives you the space for it.
Yep. It's better. It's been better. It's better for me to acknowledge that, like, I'm off today than me putting on a fake happy.
Yeah.
That one I don't do well.
No.
But I'm also not an asshole.
I don't believe I've ever seen pretty straightforward about those feelings. There's not a great
No.
poker face there.
However, when I am shitty, I'm really good at not attacking. Like I don't ever get personal
No,
and attack.
no. But I think that's been not that I've ever felt that in our relationship, but I
Nope.
think in general that's been a thing you've worked on.
Yeah. I mean, I was a fucking 22-year-old idiot. And
Well, we
a
all
lot
were.
of, sure. And a lot of, looking at my, previous relationship where in the beginning of it, I would have been more apt to say shit things.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking scummy move it is.
It wouldn't have been great together at 22.
No. No, this worked out at the right time. How about you guys? Anything else going on? Anything? What about like communicating with your partners? Are you aware that both sides are being expressed? Are you listening?
Love that for you, Sean. Also, how happy are you that you get to say fiance?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's great. It's great just being able to one of the terms that comes in with some of the psychedelic stuff is when people are going to venture out or there's going to have shaman involved or any of these type of things, it would be called like I'm going to hold space for that person. And it just means like emotionally, energetically, like I'm willing to be here for whatever it is you need from me. I can't fix anything. But whatever you got coming, I'm all right. And so with psychedelics, there's a lot of trauma that can be brought up and people get weird or yeah, man, it just gets really intense. And so there's this holding space to it where
I think the most important part about creating that safe container to have these experiences, conversations, whatever it may be, is the judgment-free part of it.
Yeah.
If we're looking at a ceremonial type situation where there are actually shaman holding space, you feel completely safe no matter what happens, no matter if you are crying or purging or laughing hysterically. You know that it's okay to do there. So taking that whole mindset and kind of the aspect of ceremony into your relationship can be a really interesting mindset shift, because I do feel safe and judgment free with you, and I do think you provide that container. Hopefully, I do the same for you.
yeah, I don't really have much I would share. I can't really think of anything, right? Like, I mean, but that's also at this point in my life, what the fuck's the point? Like I'm not hiding any of my weirdness.
Sorry.
I'm not hiding any of my weirdness at this point, no matter what it is. Because why?
Yeah, and I think that's very different, getting in a relationship in your mid-30s versus your mid-20s. You know what I mean? Like you're cutting the bullshit, you're not playing games, you're upfront about your wants and needs, and that's what I find very strange is when couples are in relationships and they're like, oh, so and so wants a kid, I don't want a kid, or different political or religious beliefs. I'm like, how did you guys get here in the first place? Because I feel like that's all
Well,
stuff.
think about being 10 years into something. Like it doesn't mean you both grow on the same paths, especially in relationships where kids are involved, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's not a ton of communication, and then someone does work more of a 9 to 5 job. Like it could be very little actual day-to-day communication about those things.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just thinking before we got in our relationship at this age, those conversations all happened. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is what I have going on. I'm not interested in kids. I feel X about this, X about that, and that's where I'm at because I'm a pretty established human who has a good sense of self.
Yeah.
By now.
Yeah, these things
Whereas-
haven't changed in a long time, feeling wise.
Right. Whereas if you are in your 20s, that conversation might not happen initially because you are trying to please this person or impress this person or maybe be someone else that you think this person will be into. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole mess of games and bullshit that people play when they're younger. And I know I did. And I appreciate the straightforward, like no bullshit approach that we've had.
Same. It's been really good.
What else do you guys have?
Yeah. What else? I mean, the only other thing I could think of, and I guess it's part of why this chat exists, is like, I hope everyone's getting laid as much as they want to be.
Oh yeah, how about communicating your needs?
Yeah.
In the bedroom.
For sure. I mean, yeah, we're pretty open about it.
We're very open.
Yeah,
Also,
again, at this point,
pretty much nothing is off
No.
limits. If something feels good, it is asked for, and there's no judgment.
Yeah.
And that's really the only rule, if you
It's
will.
been fun.
Right? If it feels good, go for it.
If it feels good, go for it. Yeah.
I don't feel like I've ever really struggled communicating my needs in the bedroom. I feel like I've uncovered a lot more things that I'm into that I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Well,
But it feels
but
good.
it changes too.
I'm into
like,
it. Let's
like
roll
it's
with it.
the shit that I was into in my 20s
yeah.
isn't the things that I'm into at 40. I imagine they're not the same thing I'll be into at 50. It's probably just gonna get fucking weirder, man.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Fuck.
It's just gonna get stranger.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's great, right? Like it makes me excited for what's to come.
well,
How
why
weird is
wouldn't
gonna
it for
get?
me, right? Like, I don't tolerate stagnation anywhere.
Yeah.
In the rest of my bullshit, why would this be something which, by the way, highly fucking motivated by? Like, I'm a big fucking fan. Sex is a big fucking part. Things I like to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And so
We're pretty into it.
I don't want to pretend I'm not. So making sure that that's a thing that's communicated pretty directly, I think it's important.
And also, I feel like you can read me. You know when maybe we need to
Yeah.
yeah, which is great because sometimes I don't even realize it, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, I needed that.
Here to help.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But also, man,
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's good. Like, it's just fucking good chemically with your partner.
See, sex is my love language.
I back that up for sure.
I am super physical. Anyone that I love, care about, I'm touching in some way, right? And sex is a big part of that. It's always been super important to me in a relationship, and it's important to Matt as well. So I'm very grateful those values line up. And he's down to do anything I want, and I'm down to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's fun, man.
Some of our best communication might be in the bedroom.
That's fucking no shit. I mean, but we also, fuck, man, we have fun dates. Occasionally we'll just find sex stores in whatever town we're in and go in and buy toys and fucking just see what that does.
And we're due, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
We'll keep you guys posted.
Start microdosing Cialis the rest of the fucking day. Be ready to go.
It's funny, but I think that's actually maybe true. Like,
It's
that
fucking
might
true,
be
yeah.
what- No, like
Performance enhancers across the board.
No, like what I said about our best communication actually might be in the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about
now
that
I
part.
said that, I'm like,
Fuck.
yeah, okay.
I'm not sure if that says great things about our bedroom or if it says
It says not great things
not
about
great things
outside
about
of
the
that.
rest of us. Oh well.
You need to take that openness, transparent.
Sure. Thank you.
What else we got?
What else is going on?
Oh, nice. Jasmine's here.
Jazzy.
What's up, Jared? I like your mustache.
Yeah.
Did anyone log on with their partner with them tonight?
What up,
Because I know we
Jasmine?
talked about that last time. We'll try to give you guys more of a heads up
Yep.
before we do the next chat like this. And we'll also get some more questions from Instagram because we had a ton the last time and probably only got to like 4 or 5. So we will get a relationship Q&A up on our stories and actually get some more questions and dive deeper into those stuff.
Yeah. But for the night, right on. Sean. Yeah, if you guys wanted to cover any of that.
Oh, yeah. How have you been feeling?
Yeah, Jared, go ahead. Yeah, everybody. Jared, you can kind of just talk about it. I guess how's that experience been, and how's it feel like making progress? Does it make, you know?
Actually,
Not hearing you, brother. There we go.
how about now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got to listen to
That's fine.
the. So yeah, it just kind of happened naturally. I joined the group, and I just had access to all these amazing tools to deal with stress. Had so many more people to talk to, and yeah, I just had all these tools at my disposal. And then it kind of happened, like I kind of forgot for a week, and then felt fine. Kind of just let it keep going. But yeah, I just felt amazing. Like you've kind of seen the stuff I've talked about. Like I just felt every week there was just this huge weight being lifted off my chest. Like I had people to talk to, less stress, and yeah. And then that's not even counting like the breath work and the hot and cold and all that stuff. So yeah. But yeah, Sean, if you have any questions, hit me up. Like right,
And
right now.
and for anyone out there that hasn't looked into checking on hormone stuff, like, you know, it's a big deal. Bonnie and I both really give a shit about it. And I do think it matters a lot in how I overall feel and how I'm overall motivated, what my sex drive is, what my desire to get shit done is, how I feel about myself. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Like if we know what an optimized level chemically I'm running at, why wouldn't I be interested in handling all those things if that's something I'm capable of taking care of? So, I mean, even Bonnie spent, what now, it's almost 2 years with getting off birth control. Just over a year getting off birth control.
Sorry, it's not even a year yet. It'll be a year next week.
Right.
Yeah, so it's still an ongoing process. I'm working with an amazing endocrinologist though, who takes a completely natural approach. So we are fixing everything that all these issues that birth control caused, which was like hair loss, anemia, weird things happening with my blood sugar. And some of those were maybe already slightly there, but it was exacerbated a lot by birth control. I was on for 16 years. But yeah, working with her very closely. So we're fixing everything with vitamins and micronutrients and supplements, all the things that the body just hasn't been absorbing for the past couple years. I didn't really start seeing negative side effects until about year 14, but birth control is not meant to be a long-term solution. it, at least the type I was on. Can't speak for everything, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, I was on it for too long, started seeing negative side effects. I don't know that I can ever truly say that it affected my libido, but regardless, oh, bless you. Wow, big one. Regardless, your hormones, your shit's out of whack, right? So the goal is to get back to homeostasis and normal levels and going through normal hormonal fluctuation every month as women are supposed to do. So we're getting back to regular again. I don't think it's really impacted my libido. Maybe sometimes I feel a little hornier. Maybe sometimes I feel not so horny, but that's also just life.
Yeah.
So I can't say for sure there. It's been pretty trippy getting full-blown periods again. Past those were just like 2 days of super like spotting, and now I'm like, oh my god, oh, this is normal. Okay, but it's a lot to deal with. But I'm looking at it with a lot more reverence, I suppose, than I have in the past, instead of making it a negative thing, which is kind of a mindset shift I'm working on. And yeah, just want to feel 100% normal again. And we do take the hormones and stuff very, very seriously. If there's a way to feel your best, I don't know why you wouldn't be doing it. It's basically what it boils down to.
Kind of how we both feel about it.
Yeah.
If that's ever something anyone's interested in about how to go about getting blood work, one of those things I also believe too is tons of people send me messages about like their doctor won't get them on, and I don't fuck that means. I'll find someone who will. Like this is how the medical system works.
And it's super important to remember that doctors work for you, right?
Yeah.
You should never be denied any information about your own health.
They don't know everything. It's just another dude who went to fucking school who's taking his best guess at it.
Also, get with an endocrinologist, not just a regular
Right.
GP, because they're going to know so much more about this. Is Sam having any issues right now, Sean, that we could touch on, or maybe you want to talk to Jared in the private chat? I don't know. Personally, I've never been on antidepressants, so I can't speak to that. I was depressed when I first started birth control, like the first 3 or 4 months. I was massively depressed. That was a very, very weird time. Strange to look back on, but yeah.
Man, I'm gonna butcher your name. Eliaki?
Eliaki?
Hi, yeah,
Hi, and
okay. Let
welcome.
me see. Hi, welcome. I'm actually like walking my dog, so
Perfect.
Oh, great.
hopefully
like
you
the
can
hat.
hear me okay. But oh, thank you. It's a big, huge visor because you know it's very sunny. It's sunny and hot. I live in LA. Anyway, so I've gone through 3 major depressive episodes and used antidepressants each time and weaned myself off each time. The first time I was in college, and one of my professors.
I believe in you. Man, it's asking a phone to do a lot.
Like, huh?
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I was in college the first time it happened, and my professor actually pulled me aside and was like, I recognize these symptoms basically. And she shared a personal story with me about her life and had suggested that I be a psychiatrist. And so I started going to therapy and I started taking medication. And so I went to therapy. Alfred, konti hetna. Nee, konti hetna. Sorry,
Nay.
he's wild. My dog speaks Icelandic. Anyway. Anyway, so therapy really helped. And something that has also helped is getting rid of, I don't like to say getting rid. I don't talk to certain people who are not good for my mental health. I haven't spoken to my mother in years. And that was the single best thing I've ever done for my mental health. And it was the hardest thing that I've ever done. But like,
Congrats, man.
sometimes you have to, you know? So you know, look at who you have around you, because if you don't really have supportive people, and it really makes a huge difference. So and also doing things that you love and doing things that you enjoy, like connecting to that inner child who just did things because it was fun and you just enjoyed it and you weren't worried about anything, you know, like making sure that you do more of that to kind of connect more to yourself, you know, because I feel like when you're depressed, you're very disconnected from yourself. Right. So that's what's helped me. Really, honestly, like breaking up, I ended a relationship. I'm not saying that that's your situation, right? But for me, just in regards to who you have around you mattering so much, like as soon as that relationship ended, it was like that fog lifted, and because it was kind of mimicking that relationship that I had with my mom, right? Of like, I'm never enough and always having to prove myself, and uh, like taking care of their emotional needs. So you're not really focused on your emotional needs, and just people pleasing and codependent behaviors, and really kind of getting real with yourself. You know, so yeah, a lot of like introspection and like asking yourself why, and really evaluating like where you are in your relationships and your role in those relationships. And you know, it's really hard to walk away from certain people, but sometimes it's like life changing. So whether that's your mom or your brother or your employer, sometimes, right? Whoever that is. But yeah. So anyway, those are some things that have helped me
Yeah, I appreciate
in
you
moving.
sharing so much.
But yeah, okay, I'm gonna after this.
We will have to talk more
Sorry.
about why your dog speaks Icelandic. I'm very fascinated with more of your stories. So we will we'll dive in during another call.
Boundaries thing. Oh
Yeah,
my God. That is,
the boundaries is a big one.
yeah, that's one I've learned to get a really good handle on. And whether that's friends or family, I mean, it's going to be very challenging to set those boundaries when it's people that we love and care about, and even more challenging when you feel like they're people you're obligated to see and have a good relationship with, like a parent. Setting that really, really firm boundary or just removal of that person in your life, like with your own mother, like, damn, that's some shit. But if it's what you need, it's what you need, right? Just because someone is a parent doesn't make them a role model. And I think I grew up personally with a lot of, it was often told to me like that, adults obviously know better, respect your elders, like you should look up to all these people. And as an adult, you realize that none of those people have their shit figured out. None of those people are saints. Maybe some of them are not good role models at all. Hopefully these are just people that were doing the best they could with the tools they had, right?
Well, if they were assholes when they were young, they're assholes who just got older. Like, there's not some age that flips it and where
Right.
you become not a piece of shit if you're a piece of shit.
Yes, unless you decide to actually change.
Right.
But those people that you feel like are just draining you, that's such an important thing to take note of, right? Like that journal prompt, what drained me today. If that's a person and you keep repeatedly finding that it's a person, okay, time to start diving deeper into that relationship and why that person is in your life. Do they need to be in your life? What are you getting from this? Like, is this an even relationship with give and take and love and compromise and all these things? But man, if it's always a person, you're leaking energy, right? If energy is a currency and we thought about it the way we think about money, we would spend it probably a lot wiser, right? It's a good thing to think about and to kind of reframe in your mind. But man, boundaries have been a big, big one for me.
And with boundaries, right, that really goes back to kind of our core thing that we talk about with very, very on, it's about accountability. It is that full accountability to your life, that I own every aspect of what I have happened to me. Like what I allow to be part of, what I'm around, what I'm influenced by, all these things are choices I make. And I'm not obligated to fucking do any of it. So since it's all choices, if it's stuff that I choose to be around, I need to do a better job of accepting it instead of pretending that it's somehow attacking me instead of me choosing to allow it to be close. You know, with parents or any of those relationships, I think about that boundary is always a, I can't be around this, so I'm not going to be. However, if you ever get your shit together, the door's open. You know, there can still be unconditional love without having to be present.
I think just the hardest part for most people is learning to undo that sense of obligation. Because my family, that was very much put on us.
Same.
Like, you don't miss Christmas. This is what we do. No exceptions. And that gets so drilled into you. That's got to be the hardest thing for people. How would you suggest people start if they're trying to learn how to undo those?
Sorry, I was reading Jared's. Yeah, I think
I said, for someone that is looking to undo those obligations or feel obligated, what would you suggest for them as like a first step?
I think there's a lot of power in realizing that you can say no to shit. Like, one of those first things you can do is whenever you get asked to go do a thing that you don't want to go to, just say no. Say, I don't want to. And a normal thing where politeness or whatever it would be would allow you to say like, oh yeah, like you kind of just touch around it. Like it's okay to just be like, oh, I don't think that's for me. And like be able to own that that's an okay way to feel. It's not fucking rude.
So start saying no to maybe like smaller things.
Yeah,
first.
exactly. Yeah, shit you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Understand there may be consequences for it. People may be fucking bummed. But you don't have to do shit you don't want to go do. That's a waste of energy. So at some point, stop doing those things unless you want to continue being someone who does those things. If at some point those things are going to phase out because they're currently a thing that needs to go, why not get it the fuck done? You know, that feeling of obligation. Even with family gatherings for me, that's probably the biggest one I ever felt was the needed to be there for that thing when I really disliked being there. At some point I had to look at it like, if they understood how much I don't want to be here, they wouldn't ask me to be here because they do love me. If I don't look at it that way, then it means that, you know, they just are okay with me being miserable. And I'm not okay anymore with the limited amount of time that I get left to live, except someone saying, hey, next weekend you're going to come over and be fucking miserable for 12 hours. No, I won't. I'm not fucking going. I don't give a fuck how anyone feels about it. There's no physical thing that will make me show up at it. And so being able to own those things that I don't want to do. And if I'm not going to fucking do it, go and do something that you would have done with that time better. Also, if you attend things, because you have that power to say, I don't want to fucking be here, be there then. Don't fucking halfway stuff. That's worse. Don't show up at things and be kind of pissy about you having to be there. Just fucking be there. This was a choice you made. It goes back to accountability. You know, those boundaries. You don't have to do shit you don't want to do. So everything you find yourself doing clearly is something you chose. Stop fucking doing it. Sorry, I got excited.
Yeah. so much of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's that feeling that just because they're your parents doesn't mean they fucking know anything. And at some point, they're not going to change. They're not going to shift. They're not going to do any of those things.
Yeah.
So it's my decision how much I interact with them and what energy I allow it to give. But I won't fall into the trap of bickering and doing that shit.
No.
I know that that's one of the currencies my family communicates love with. Yeah. Is this whatever it is, this fucking take someone down a peg bullshit. Just not fucking interested anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to participate. Can't make me.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
it boils
go.
down to. But when you're setting those boundaries and removing those obligations, you have to be okay with the consequences, right? If they're more drastic.
Paul, you said you've been getting blown up since you cut off contact with the now ex-wife. I'm trying to do what's best for myself, but I'm getting comments and calls from all the other sides, from all sides. They'll give up.
Also, tell them you're done talking about it.
Also, you can continue not responding at all. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you want here.
Yeah.
I mean,
People, again,
but
goes
you
back
don't.
to their no rules.
But you also don't get to have them be cool with it.
Right. That's what I just said. Be
Right.
aware of the consequences of setting these boundaries. Because I believe we've both set boundaries with both our parents.
Mhm.
But we're very lucky that our parents in general are loving,
Yeah.
understanding people for the most part. So we are lucky there. Not everyone might have parents or
Oh,
family
wait,
members
man.
or friends that react that way.
No.
So know the person you're talking to, know what is.
Well, I mean, look, if I think most people are pretty fucking dumb and not aware, that means most people's parents are pretty fucking dumb and not aware.
So
And
again,
like, yeah, there's
be cool
It's how it
with the
works.
fact that the response back might be, okay, fuck you, we never have to talk again. Okay.
Again, these tools for like that total accountability are about managing your energy.
Better off having done what's best for me. Yeah. The relationship you have with this
Yeah.
is the longest one you'll ever have, right? It should be the best one you ever have.
I mean, really the point of the group, right? With as much, I'm trying to fit in as many things as I can in the time that I have left, with the weeks I've got left. And I don't need to go to any more fucking family picnics that I don't want to be at. Like, I don't have to explain that to anyone at this point. I'm going to go do the thing I want to go do, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Okay, how about like just a little devil's advocate?
Sure.
How about if you would have made your mom's experience so much better by being there? Does that impact how you feel about it at all?
It does. It does. But there is a law of diminishing returns to that. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to every one of them. And in the same way that my absolute belief is that I am allowed to do whatever it is I want for my pursuit of happiness. But it can never get in the way of someone else's. I'm never allowed to ask that. And her asking me to suffer so it makes her happy seems fucking real weird. And I
agree.
typically won't fall into
I agree.
it.
I'm just throwing that out there. Like, does
I would
guilt
probably
pop up for you? Like, what?
every so often, sure.
Yeah.
And if it does, I listen to it and I typically go and give. But I typically also know when that feels pretty balanced. And that's keeping my boundary. It's not a hard fuck yes or no, but there is a boundary of like, yo, there's a balance to this. I got to also be hard edge for a long time with it, and it softened because I know I own my boundaries and I know that I'm there by choice now. I'm better at managing my energy that I can go into something like that and not get abused by it.
Also, just a good thing to be aware of as you go throughout your day.
you know, and even like abused by it or any of that, it's a stretch, right? Like for me, it was just such a sensory overload of so many things that it would cost me 2 or 3 days to get my shit back together.
Yeah, taking everything from you. It's just an
Yeah.
energy suck.
And like, I'm not interested in giving anyone my energy that I don't want it to go to. I get to choose where all my energy goes. In fact, no one can take it. I always choose where it goes. So I may just be choosing to put it to different shit, but no one can take it from me. You know, that's the accountability side, is that I own the fact that like wherever my energy goes is a place I chose.
It's on you.
It's on me.
Back to that radical accountability. Just a lot of things.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's go ahead and call it a wrap. If anybody needs hormone stuff or is curious about that, please send either of us a message. I think that shit matters, dude. It's a great way to fucking set yourself up for more success, is to be running at optimal levels. So, all right, everyone. Thank you all for participating in this.
And nice to meet the new faces here.
Yep. Thanks all again, and we'll talk soon.